live tonight about 7 o'clock, straight after NRL 360. Lots to talk about with Lockie Galvin and why I think, in my gut, it's looking like this guy will be at the Bulldogs. I'll tell you why. We'll talk about Sexton, we'll talk about him, talk about young halves, what it might mean for the club, getting ahead of ourselves. But thanks to Shane Richardson at the Tigers, he's going to get what he wants, and that's to create a whole big stir amongst potential suitors for Lockie Galvin, because it will polarise fans. People will be for it, people will be against it. So I'll just try and give as much context as I can, as I usually do, on the pros and the cons, and what it could mean or may or may not mean when we look at it. But Stephen Crichton and Conan Tracy will be on NRL 360 tonight as well. I'm sure they'll get asked when they have their discussion, but expect on NRL 360 they're going to show all the footage of Gus Gould talking about Lockie Galvin, all the comments. They'll have a big introduction to it. So when you watch that, come and join the live, because you will get, if you're thinking dead set against it, like this guy's a mercenary. I've stayed up thinking about this all night last night, and I'm in 3 or 4 different minds about it. But at the end of the day, I've come up with all the logical solutions that I can see, and in my gut, I think this guy will be at the Bulldogs in whenever that happens, and the Tigers have played their part in ensuring that Galvin is under a lot of pressure, and that any club that he is going to feel, be definitely in the divided camp when it comes to whether he goes with the Dogs or whether he doesn't. So yeah, there will be lots to look at, but we will go in at 7 o'clock. We'll look at the team changes. Burton and Kickow expected to be named. I think Kickow will be on an extended bench. I think Burton will be named to start, and we'll see what happens from there on. But the team's going to pick itself pretty easily depending on who plays. If those two guys come in, expect Jack Todd to drop out, because Tupanua will be back, obviously. That's what I expect will happen, and especially with Harry Hayes being injured. But we'll look at all of that and have a good chat about it. I'm sure there'll be lots of different opinions, and the idea for me is to sit there and compare what the halves do, what this Galvin's been doing in attack and defence, and then the likelihood of him coming to the Dogs, because to me, it just feels like to me a similar situation to when Mick Potter come in as coach. When he come into the coach of the Bulldogs, many of us were happy to give him a go. We noticed some early improvements, and many of us were against the signing of Serraldo, and that's turned out to be pretty good. So I sort of had this feeling that is Galvin a mercenary, or has he been wanting out of that club for over 12 months? If that's the case, it may not be about getting all the big money, but look, it will cause big rifts. Will this destabilise the Bulldogs season? There's all these things to consider, and they're things I don't want to consider, and part of me doesn't want to talk about it because Shane Richardson, I think, played the recruitment wars and the culture wars really well in this scenario, because, pardon the pun, he wants to galvanise his Tigers team moving forward, and he also knows that it's going to polarise other fans from other clubs who are going to be like, yeah, bring him, and there'll be heaps of people saying don't bring him, and it'll disrupt players that are already within systems, whether it's at Manly or Canterbury or Parramatta. It doesn't matter. But we'll talk about it tonight, guys. 7 o'clock, I'll be ready, raring to go, and looking forward to chatting to you people. But yeah, look, the stuff Fox is doing, it's already, you know, I could have written all them headlines myself. So look, they'll cash in on it as much as they can. Many people will are sort of starting to post already that they're angry at Fox for what they're doing in regards, and the fact they're going to basically put Canterbury at the front of the list from tonight, and they're already starting with their articles, and it doesn't take an idiot to put two and two together. I actually think they're not too far off the mark when it comes to this one. I really don't. And you know, they'll say Phil Gould's a genius and all this sort of stuff, and he's been basically pitching to Lachlan Galvin over his media position, but really I don't give two shits. If it works out in our favour, great. If it ends up, you know, destabilising our season, well, that won't be good. But, you know, this is there to talk about. It's going to be talked about. It's going to be everywhere. There'll be certain people on Facebook groups who'll do about 45 posts a day about this sort of shit. So let's talk about it now and start getting our head around the fact that I believe this kid will be coming to the club, or there's a big chance of it. And if he doesn't, that's great. Hopefully Phil Gould will rule himself out. But if he doesn't rule us out of Lachlan Galvin's signature, it's going to be talked about, and the fact Sexton's not signed, it's just going to be talked about for a very, very long time. Anyway, guys, hope this came through all right. I'll see you at 7 o'clock. Go the Dogs. Just got to work out how to turn it off.